Hey, so I'm gonna film this super quick video just talking about the basics of woofing on Maui and how to get started, how to find a farm, and what you might expect on the farms. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully you learn something about woofing, and I'm definitely gonna make another video hopefully soon talking about more of my personal experience, and you can ask me more questions if you want. Definitely the best way is to find my Instagram and just DM me on there. It's easier than on YouTube, so hopefully this helps and you learned something new, and thank you for watching. Lots of people have been asking me about my WWOOF experience, and I've been getting a lot of DMs and messages on Instagram and stuff. So I just thought that it might be easier to just make a video on here explaining some of the basic stuff, and then maybe I'll make another video where I talk about my more personal experience, but right now I'll just talk about lots of the questions that I've been getting and some of the basic stuff of how to get started and how to choose a farm. Okay, so first of all, something that you have to know if you want to WWOOF in Hawaii is it's a separate situation than if you're just WWOOFing on mainland USA, and there's a whole different website. So try not to make your account on just the WWOOF USA website. Try to make it on the WWOOF Hawaii website, because that's where you'll actually find the Hawaii farms. And I also had so many questions about whether or not I went alone or whether you should go with friends. I went with my boyfriend, but I would suggest going with a friend. I just think that it would be more fun and a little bit more comfortable for the first little while. It depends on what kind of farm you're gonna be at too. Some of the farms don't really have very many people on them, but for instance our farm had 16 other woofers, so we met lots of people really fast and made really good friends, and lots of people did come alone and that was totally fine for them. So it just depends on what you're comfortable with, but I'd say go with a friend. Just I think it's more fun, but you'll meet people, and if you're on Maui too, it's such a friendly island that it should be fine, like meeting people and being alone even. Maui's pretty chill. So I got lots of questions about how long you have to stay, and it depends on the farm. Lots of farms will probably have a maximum and a minimum stay, but the maximum can probably be changed like depending on if they like you. So I'd suggest just emailing the farm and telling them exactly how long you intend on staying, and they can probably accommodate you. They just don't want you to stay for too short of a time, because if you're not there for very long, then it's not worth their time to teach you how to do stuff. So I'd probably say a month is the least you can probably get away with at a single farm. Okay, so transportation. Okay, if you're wondering whether to rent a car or if you have to take the bus, or if the farm has a car, usually the farm isn't going to provide transportation. I would really suggest renting a moped, especially if you're on Maui. It's not that expensive, and you can, or actually buy a moped, and it's not that expensive, and you can sell it after and basically lose no money. So it might not seem like something you have to do, but it'll give you so much freedom that it's really worth it. Oh yeah, so be prepared that lots of things are not going to be walking distance from your farm. The farms are all like away from the touristy stuff. Our farm was weirdly close, like only 15-minute drive away, but lots of the farms are going to be in the jungle, and you're not going to be walking distance to bus stops and stuff. So lots of people hitchhike on Maui, and I think Maui is pretty safe for it. We didn't hitchhike, but like a ton of our friends did. So if you want to do that, that's something to look into. But just know that you're not going to be walking distance from a grocery store or anything like that. Okay, money. You're probably not going to be able to make money on the farm that you're at. Some farms will give you extra food or like alcohol or some kind of something to make you happy if you're working extra. Check the farm's description to see what kind of food they give you. Some farms will give you like all of your groceries. Some farms will give you money. Some farms will, you just get food from the land. And some farms, they're actually not going to feed you very much. And that's something to ask the farm that you're trying to apply to. And that's one of the big things of why we chose the farm we were at. It's because they gave us like a full set of groceries every other week from Costco. So we had a ton. And that's not very usual. And yes, your farm will probably accommodate a vegan or vegetarian diet. I think the only reason they wouldn't would be if you're living in the farmer's house and they cook you meals every day and they don't live a vegan lifestyle. Otherwise, yeah, you can make it work. Even if they don't just buy vegan groceries, you can always subsidize some of your groceries with your own vegan options coming out of your pocket. Yeah, it depends on what kind of farm you're at. Because we got a full grocery set. Okay, do you need farming experience? I'd say probably not, but that really depends on what farm you find. The farm that we were at, definitely not. It was more like weeding and really simple tasks. But some farms, if the bios seem like they want someone in agriculture or someone with experience, then yeah, probably you're gonna be doing heavy farming. And you can get a really good sense of what the farm's gonna be just by reading their bio and their description of their farm and what they're looking for from the woofers. Oh, also, the farms aren't gonna pay for your flights and however you're getting there. So that's something that you need to budget. Okay, accommodations can be really different depending on where you're staying. Some of them, you stay in a communal house. Sometimes you live in the house with the farm owners. Sometimes you might be like sleeping in a tent outside. The tents are provided normally. I don't think you should worry about having to bring your own tent. From what I've heard, a lot of the farms have cabins. So that's what we had. We stayed in private cabins, but there were also communal cabins. So that's something to keep in mind if you're comfortable sleeping in a tent, or if you need to have like a roof over your head that's a little bit more substantial. And we also had like a full kitchen and stuff. So, but also you're not going to be living in the middle of woods with nothing. Like, you'll probably have a shower. It'll probably be an outdoor shower, most likely not hot water. Yeah, so like kind of rough living, but nice enough. Oh, so what are the hours like? Our farm, we worked 5 days a week, and then we got 2 days for a weekend, and our work days were 5 hours long. We didn't always work the full 5 hours, but we did have a lot of time off, so that was really, really good. Our owners allowed us to take time off if we wanted, so we took like a week vacation in between. Just the only thing is, during that time we weren't eating food or using the accommodations that they were providing us, so that's why they allowed it to us. If we were still gonna be like eating their food and everything, they would still be expecting us to be working. But that's if you're not gonna be working and you want like a vacation or time to explore the island, then I'd suggest trying to make a deal with the people who are running your farm, and it should be okay. And yeah, so you should have lots of time for fun. Usually we would work until 1, so actually we had most of the day and the hottest time of the day to do whatever we wanted. We went to the beach a lot, and honestly, like, we could do whatever we wanted. We could go into town. Something to keep in mind too is the location of your farm. If you're expecting to go to the beach every day, then make sure that you're close enough to a beach. If you're living in the jungle, then that's also something to consider. The climates on Maui are really different. So whatever side of the island you end up on is really gonna determine what kind of things you're doing and probably how much money you're spending too. So cost really depends on what you're planning on doing. You can do it really cheap, basically just paying for your flights, or you can also spend more money. Like, depends if you want to go out into town and go out for dinner, or if you want to go to the bar, or if you want to go shopping. Those kinds of things are more expensive. If you want to rent a vehicle or buy a moped while you're there, that'll all add up. But there's also ways to make money. So some of the farms might pay you, or you can get a job in town. Some people did get jobs, but it's not necessary unless you're planning on WWOOFing for like a really long time. Then probably an extra job is what you'd want. But if you're there more for travel, you don't have to find a second job. You just have to make sure that you're handling what you're spending money on and like being realistic about the things you actually want to do when you're there. Because if you want to rent a car and go around the island and have a little bit more of a vacation, then you're gonna be looking at spending more money than the typical like WWOOF experience. So when you're picking a farm, I really suggest looking at whether you're there for the farming, or if you're there for friends, or if you're there for travel. If you're there for the farming experience and to learn more actually about organic farming, lots of the descriptions of the farms are pretty obviously geared towards that. But if you just want to meet friends and see the island and like have fun, and you don't really care about the work, then definitely look at the bios and the farms that are more geared towards that, because that's the kind of experience we had. And I don't think I would have really enjoyed the other kind, but some of the farmers that we were with, yeah, some of the other WWOOFers were looking for the kind of experience where they were living off the land and learning more about the actual farming, and they were kind of disappointed with the farm that they were at where we were, and then they ended up moving farms. When you email the farms that you're interested in, you'll find their emails on the WWOOF Hawaii website when you search up the farms, and it's basically like a typical resume like introduction. So you're trying to be an employee at their farm essentially. So you want to tell them why you're interested in WWOOFing, why you're interested in their farm, a little bit about you if you have any farming experience, your work experience, what you're like as a person. They're gonna want to like you because most of the farms you're living with the farmers, so they want someone who has a good attitude, who's gonna work hard, and who's gonna get along with people. So something to consider when you're writing your initial email to them. And that should be it. So I think the main things are just book through the WWOOF Hawaii website, not just the WWOOF USA website, because they're a totally different thing. And if you're not finding the Hawaii options, that's gonna be why. You do have to pay a fee, like a yearly fee, to be a WWOOFer. I think it's only $60 or something, 50. So not that much, and like worth it to be able to find the farms. And I would look into getting another form of transportation other than walking and taking the bus, just because the island is quite sprawly and the farm you're going to be at is going to be kind of in the middle of nowhere. So if you want to travel around and you're not comfortable with hitchhiking, then definitely look into getting a moped. And yes, you will have lots of time for fun and opportunities to meet friends. Just know you'll probably have to work hard when you're on the farm, but your time off is really worth it. Hopefully I answered some of your questions that you've been asking me on Instagram, and stay tuned for the next one, because I think that's gonna be more exciting, talking about like all the things that we did and our specific experience, because it was so fun. I'd really suggest doing it, and especially on Maui. because I think it's the most friendly of all the other islands, and it was just perfect. So thank you, and see you later. Bye.